Can I join you? The words were barely louder than the falling snow, yet they carried the weight of a life spent alone. The lonely CEO whispered them while standing in the glow of a small Christmas tree, watching a father and his young son celebrate as if the world had never hurt them. Stay with this story until the very end, because what happens next will change how you see kindness forever. And if this story touches your heart even once, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more stories like this to life. The city was dressed in lights, but inside the tallest building downtown, the lights felt cold. Amelia Hart, CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country, sat alone in her corner office on Christmas Eve. The boardroom was empty, the assistants had gone home, and the silence felt louder than any applause she had ever received. She had everything people dreamed of: power, money, influence, but none of it kept the loneliness from creeping in when the world slowed down for the holidays. She told herself she would just work through Christmas like always, but something inside her felt unbearably heavy that night. On her way out, Amelia decided to walk instead of calling her driver. Snow fell gently, softening the sharp edges of the city. That's when she heard laughter, pure, unfiltered laughter, coming from a small community hall across the street. Through the window, she saw a modest Christmas party: paper decorations, mismatched chairs, and a crooked tree decorated with handmade ornaments. At the center of it all was a father and his son. The father wore an old sweater with frayed cuffs, and the boy, no more than 8, danced around him with a paper crown on his head. They didn't have much, but joy filled the room like warmth from a fireplace. Amelia stood there longer than she meant to. The boy hugged his father tightly, and the man knelt to whisper something that made the child laugh even harder. That simple moment hit her harder than any boardroom battle ever had. She suddenly remembered her own childhood Christmases, before the ambition, before the walls she built, when her mother would sing softly while wrapping gifts, and her father would pretend not to cry. Those memories felt like they belonged to someone else now. Without fully understanding why, Amelia found herself walking toward the door. She opened it slowly, unsure if she even belonged in a place like this. The laughter faded into curious silence as people noticed her expensive coat and polished shoes. Her confidence, so powerful in meetings, vanished. She looked at the father and son, swallowed, and whispered, "Can I join you?" The father stood up, surprised but gentle. His name was Daniel, and his son's name was Noah. Daniel didn't ask who she was or why she was there. He simply smiled, pulled out a chair, and said, "Of course. There's always room for one more at Christmas." Noah grinned and handed her a paper ornament he had made himself. Amelia's hands trembled as she took it. No one had given her anything handmade in decades. As the night unfolded, Amelia learned pieces of their story. Daniel had lost his wife 2 years earlier to illness. Money was tight, and this small party was organized by volunteers who believed no family should be alone on Christmas. Daniel worked 2 jobs, but every evening he made time to read to Noah and talk about their day. He admitted life was hard, but love made it lighter. Amelia listened, feeling something crack open inside her. But not everything was perfect. Daniel was struggling with an eviction notice he hadn't told Noah about yet. The holidays were beautiful, but January terrified him. Amelia felt the familiar instinct to fix everything with money, yet something stopped her. This wasn't about writing a check, it was about being human. She didn't reveal who she was. She just listened, laughed when Noah told jokes, and even helped clean up after the party ended. When it was time to leave, Noah hugged her like he had known her forever. "Thank you for coming," he said. "Christmas is better when no one is alone." Amelia walked back into the snow with tears in her eyes, realizing that the boy had just given her the greatest gift she had ever received. Days later, back in her office, Amelia couldn't forget that night. She ordered an investigation, not into Daniel, but into her own company's values. She discovered how many families in the city were struggling despite working full-time jobs. For the first time, she made a decision not driven by profit. She launched a housing support program, increased wages for entry-level workers, and partnered with local shelters. Quietly, without cameras, she made sure Daniel and Noah would never face eviction again.